The forgotten records. The grand chamber of the Imperial Archive was silent, except for the soft hum of machines. Rows of towering shelves stretched into the distance, each filled with glowing data crystals. Scholars in long robes moved quietly. Between them, their eyes fixed on ancient codes. Most of the galaxy believed history was settled, that the past held no more surprises. But one officer did not believe that. His name was Kalen Dre, a young commander with sharp eyes and restless thoughts. Kalen was assigned to research old battle records, a boring task meant for punishment. But as he scrolled through dusty data files, he noticed a word appearing again and again. The word was humans. It was strange. He had heard that word only in whispers. The galaxy said humans were extinct, gone thousands of years ago. They were a dead species, a forgotten people, a myth kept alive in tavern stories. And yet here they were, mentioned in old battle logs, in trade records and council reports. The more he read, the more his hands trembled. Humans were described as fierce, clever, and dangerous. Some records even claimed they fought entire fleets with only a handful of ships. Other notes said they were builders, able to survive in impossible worlds. Kalen leaned closer to the glowing crystal, his heart beating faster. One file showed a chilling entry. Final sighting of humanity, Sector 9X14. Status, unknown. Message received. We endure. Those two words echoed in his mind like thunder. Humans were supposed to be dust, yet here was proof that they were alive, at least long ago. Kalen carried the file to the High Council. The council chamber was a massive dome of marble and steel, filled with old rulers in heavy robes. They listened as Kalen spoke of his discovery. Honored Council, I believe humans may not be extinct. This signal proves survival. The chamber erupted in laughter. One elder slammed his staff on the ground. Nonsense. Humans are shadows of the past. Dangerous myths. Nothing more. Another waved his hand. Even if they survived, they are weak by now. The Empire rules the stars. But Kalen did not back down. He raised the crystal high and let the words echo across the chamber. We endure. The laughter died for a moment and silence fell. Even the most arrogant elder shifted uneasily. Something in those words felt alive, like a warning carried through time. Commander, the council leader finally said, his voice cold. You will not waste our fleets on ghost hunts. Humans are gone. You will forget this. Kalen bowed, but inside his chest the fire only grew stronger. He could not forget. He had seen the records with his own eyes. And if the humans were still alive somewhere, then the Empire had made a terrible mistake. By ignoring them, that night Kalen returned to his quarters. He locked the door, dimmed the lights, and replayed the signal again and again. The voice was faint, broken by static, but it was human. Not alien, not machine. Human. His screen flickered, and the words came again, clear as fire. We endure. Kalen whispered the words aloud, feeling their weight. Somewhere in the galaxy, forgotten and hidden, humans had survived. They were not ghosts. They were waiting. Outside his window, the stars burned cold and endless. Kalen pressed his fist to the glass, a chill running down his spine. He knew one thing with certainty. If the humans were alive, then the Empire was in danger, because history did not forget humans. History feared them, and the Empire, in its pride, had just awoken the first shadow of their return, the forbidden world. The orders were clear. The council had dismissed the discovery. Humans were declared a dead race, nothing but ghosts in forgotten files. But Commander Kalen Dre could not rest. Every night he stared at the signal crystal, the faint voice repeating the same two words, we endure. It burned inside him like a secret fire. He knew the council was wrong. He knew something still lived out there, and so he made a choice that could cost him everything. Kalen went to the one person he trusted, Captain Saris Vey, an old war pilot. With scars across his face, Saris was blunt, cynical, and loyal only to truth. When Kalen showed him the records, Saris narrowed his eyes. That sector is marked forbidden, he growled. Dead worlds, collapsed colonies. No ships go there. Anymore. Kalen leaned closer, his voice sharp. Or maybe it was marked forbidden because humans were there. For a long moment, Saris was silent. Then he smirked. You're either a fool, or you're right. Either way, I'll take my ship. The journey 2 days later, a small scout vessel slipped out of Imperial docks under false orders. Kalen and Saris sat in the cockpit as the stars stretched into blue streaks. Destination, Sector 9X-14. The journey was tense. Whispers followed them. Through the fleet corridors before departure, some said Kalen was chasing ghosts, others said he was cursed. But once the stars bent back into place and the ship slowed, the crew fell silent. Before them hung a world, dark and broken. Its surface was scarred with craters, its skies thick with ash. Orbiting the planet were shattered satellites, their husks drifting like bones. It's dead, one officer whispered. Like the council said. Kalen shook his head. Look deeper. Sensors swept the surface, scanning ruins of old cities. At first, nothing. Then the readings came. Faint energy spikes, underground tunnels, hidden power grids. Saris cursed under his breath. Someone's still down there. The landing against all warnings, Kalen ordered descent. The ship pierced the black clouds, shaking as it broke through storms. Below, the ruins stretched endlessly. Towers collapsed, bridges snapped, streets buried in dust. It was a graveyard of a once great world. The landing ramp hissed open. The air was heavy, filled with the smell of smoke and iron. Soldiers stepped cautiously into the ruins, weapons raised. Then they saw it. A door carved into the ground, massive and ancient, hidden beneath layers of ash. It looked like a bunker entrance, sealed tight with steel and stone. But the sensors screamed. The energy source came from inside. Saris kicked the dust and muttered, "No one could live here, not for centuries." Kalen stared at the door. Unless they never left. The awakening. They tried to force it open, but the door did not move. Suddenly, without warning, it began to rumble. Gears turned, stone cracked, and the massive gate slid open with a groan. Like thunder, every soldier froze, weapons raised. From the darkness inside, faint lights flickered. Then came the sound of footsteps, slow and deliberate. A figure stepped out. Not alien, not mutant. Human, eyes sharp, face scarred, wearing armor unlike anything the Empire had ever seen. Behind him, more shadows moved, armed with strange rifles. Their movements disciplined. The Imperial soldiers gasped, some lowering their weapons in shock. One whispered, "Impossible. They're supposed to be extinct." The man's voice cut through the storm, deep and steady. "You should not have come here." Kalen's chest tightened. "Humans. You survived." The man's gaze was hard, unflinching. "Survived? No. We endured. We built. We remembered. And we never forgot what the galaxy did to us." The tension. The air grew heavy. Imperial soldiers shifted uneasily as more humans emerged, their weapons glowing faintly in the rain. They did not look weak. They looked ready for war. Saris leaned close to Kalen and whispered, "These aren't survivors, Commander. These are soldiers." Kalen stepped forward, lowering his weapon. He spoke carefully. "The Empire believed you were gone. I believed you were still here. Tell me, why hide underground for so long?" The human leader gave a bitter smile. "Because we learned, long ago we learned that the galaxy doesn't save us, it betrays us, it burns our homes and leaves us to die." His eyes hardened. "So we hid, and we grew strong in the dark." Lightning split the sky, illuminating the ruins around them. Kalen felt a shiver crawl down his spine. The Empire had not found a dead world. They had stumbled onto a hidden civilization that had prepared for centuries, and the humans were not welcoming their return. They were warning them. Ending hook. The human leader raised his hand, and instantly the bunker lights flared. In the distance, Kalen saw vast underground cities glowing with life. The readings were true. Tens of thousands of humans lived below, thriving in secret. The humans' words cut through the storm once more, sharp as steel. "You came searching for ghosts. But you've awoken the living. Kalen's soldiers looked at him in fear. Saris muttered, "We should leave while we can." But Kalen knew. This was only the beginning. For the first time in 1,000 years, humans had revealed themselves to the Empire, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The hidden civilization. The storm above raged like an angry sea, but underground there was light. Commander Kalen stood frozen at the edge of the massive bunker door. Before him stretched a sight he had never imagined beneath. The ruined surface of the planet lay a sprawling city. Tunnels lit with glowing crystals and metal lights snaked into the distance. Great caverns held farms, water channels, workshops, and factories. It was alive, full of movement, full of sound, full of humans. Men and women in strange uniforms walked past with rifles at their sides. Children ran along the walkways, their laughter echoing through the stone. Machines hummed as workers built parts of ships and weapons in hidden forges. This was no scattered group of survivors. This was a civilization. Kalen whispered to himself. Impossible. But Saris only muttered, "No, this is war waiting to happen." The first meeting, the human leader stepped forward, his eyes sharp and steady. "My name is Commander Arik Vale. You've entered our home without permission." "Why?" Kalen raised his hands, showing peace. "I came to find the truth. The council said you were gone. But you are here, stronger than anyone believed." Arik's jaw tightened. "The council abandoned us centuries ago. They let our worlds burn. We were nothing to them, forgotten. But we did not die." He leaned closer, his voice low. "We remembered." The Imperial soldiers shifted uncomfortably, sensing the tension. Some looked at the humans with fear, others with awe. Saris placed a hand on his blaster, whispering, "We shouldn't be here, Kalen. These people are dangerous." Kalen ignored him, his eyes locked on Arik. "If you endured, if you rebuilt all this, then the galaxy must know. The Empire must see you." Arik's face hardened. "The Empire will not see us as survivors. They will see us as a threat. And they will come to destroy us." The hidden strength Arik gestured for them to follow. Hesitant, Kalen and his soldiers stepped deeper into the underground city. They passed training grounds where human warriors sparred with precision. They passed armories where strange weapons glowed with power. And then at last they reached a cavern so vast it stole Kalen's breath. Inside the cavern rested a massive warship, half buried in scaffolding. Its hull gleamed silver in the dim light, its shape sharp and predatory. Engines rumbled faintly, alive as workers moved across its surface. Kalen's eyes widened. You've built warships?" Arik nodded coldly. "For centuries we built in secret. For centuries we prepared. We remembered the fire that destroyed Earth. We swore never again." Saris let out a sharp laugh, though there was no humor in it. "You've been waiting for this. Waiting for someone to come, waiting for war." Arik's voice was steady. "We never wanted war, but we knew it would find us again. And when it does, humanity will not kneel. We will fight." A divided crew, Kalen's soldiers whispered among themselves as they walked. Some looked at the humans with admiration, as if seeing legends come alive. Others were pale with fear, muttering, "If the council learns of this, they'll send the fleet." Saris grabbed Kalen's arm, his voice urgent. "We need to leave, now. This is bigger than us. The Empire won't believe. They'll fear, and when they fear, they destroy." Kalen shook his head, his eyes still fixed on the ship. "If the Empire tries to destroy them, it will be the greatest mistake in history." Arik overheard, his gaze unyielding. "You speak as though you care for us, Commander. But you are, still of the Empire. Will you betray us to them?" Kalen hesitated, torn between duty and the truth standing before his eyes. I don't know. But I know this. Humanity does not deserve to remain in shadows." The warning Arik stepped close, his voice cold as steel. "Listen carefully, Commander. You found us, but you were not meant to. We chose to hide because we learned, long ago, when others see us, they fear us. And fear always turns to blood." Kalen's breath caught. What are you saying? Arek's eyes burned with memory. I am saying this. If the Empire comes with fire, we will answer with fire. If they come to destroy us, we will destroy them first. The cavern seemed to tremble with his words. Even Kalen's soldiers stepped back, fear flashing in their eyes. The rising suspense. Suddenly, alarms echoed through the cavern. Red lights flared across the walls. Humans rushed to stations. Arek spun toward one of his officers, who shouted, "Surface scanners triggered. An Imperial drone is in orbit. They found us." Kalen's stomach twisted. The scout ship they arrived in, it must have been tracked. The Empire already knew, Arek's voice thundered. Then it begins. Tell your council this: humanity does not bow. We endure. And we will rise. Ending. Kalen stood in silence, staring at the underground city. Humans alive, humans thriving, humans preparing for war. This was not the lost race the galaxy remembered. This was something new, something fierce, something unstoppable. Cirrus pulled him back toward the exit. We need to run before the Empire arrives, Kalen. This isn't discovery anymore. This is the start of something greater. Kalen looked back one last time at the glowing ship. In the cavern, his heart pounded with both awe and fear. He whispered the words that had haunted him since the beginning. We endure. And in that moment, he knew. The galaxy had just awoken a force it was not ready to face. The Empire's dilemma. The Imperial High Council gathered in their great chamber, a dome of silver and gold. Light from 1,000 candles flickered across, ancient stone, casting shadows on the faces of the galaxy's rulers. They sat in silence as Kalen's report played before them. Grainy images of underground cities, human soldiers, and the great warship hidden beneath the planet. The chamber was thick with unease. For centuries, humans were believed to be dead, dust scattered by history. But now the truth was undeniable. They lived, and they were strong. The council reacts. Councillor Varen, old and bitter, slammed his hand against the table. This cannot be allowed. Humans are a danger. If they have ships, if they have weapons, then they will rise. And when they rise, they will destroy everything. Others nodded, fear shining in their eyes. Another councillor whispered, they fought entire fleets with nothing but fire and iron. That was 1,000 years ago. If they've rebuilt in secret, then they are far more dangerous now. But not everyone agreed. Councillor Lyra, younger and sharp-tongued, leaned forward. You speak of fear, but what if we are wrong? What if they seek peace? Perhaps the humans could be powerful allies. Varen sneered. Allies. Humanity has only ever brought war. Legends say they burned entire empires. They cannot be trusted. The chamber erupted in argument, voices clashing like swords. Some demanded immediate destruction. Others called for cautious diplomacy. But beneath it all, one truth pressed into every heart. The galaxy was no longer theirs alone. Humanity had returned. Kalen's plea. Kalen stood before the council, his voice steady but urgent. I have seen them with my own eyes. These humans are not broken. They are organized, disciplined, and prepared. If you send a fleet against them, you will not win easily. Varen spat the words. So you fear them too? Kalen shook his head. I do not fear them. I respect them. I believe destroying them would be a mistake. Humanity remembers betrayal. If we attack, we prove them right. We prove that the galaxy only seeks to kill them. The chamber grew, quiet, every eye fixed on him. Kalen took a breath and continued. Instead, we should speak with them. Offer alliance. They endured when no one else could. We need their strength, not their hatred. But the silence broke with cold laughter. You are blinded, Commander, Varen hissed. You see honor where there is only danger. The rising fear in the back of the chamber. Whispers spread like fire. Humans. They endured the dark. They built ships in secret. They could already be spreading to other worlds. What if they are preparing an army to strike the Empire itself? The fear grew thicker with every rumor. The Council was not only afraid of humanity's survival, they were afraid of what it meant. that a species they had written off as extinct had outsmarted them, outlasted them, and might outfight them. Cirrus speaks the truth. Captain. Cirrus, standing beside Kalen, finally broke his silence. He was a soldier of scars, not words, but when he spoke, his voice cut through the noise. You are all fools. You sit in your golden towers safe and fat, and you think humans will bow? No. I saw their eyes. They don't fear you. They don't need you. If you push them, they'll tear your fleets apart. Gasps spread through the chamber. Baron snarled, You dare speak to the council like this? Cirrus only shrugged. I speak truth. Ignore it if you want, but you'll be the ones burning when humanity rises. The secret decision. After hours of shouting, the council leader, an ancient woman with silver eyes, finally raised her hand. The chamber fell silent. Her voice was cold, precise, heavy with the weight of power. We will not speak of this discovery to the galaxy, she declared. No one must know. If word spreads that humanity survived, fear will spread with it. The people will panic. The fleets will demand war. We must decide in secret. Her words slithered through the chamber, chilling Kalen's heart. This was not diplomacy. This was control. The council would keep humanity's return hidden until they decided how to crush it. The shadow plan late that night, in dark corridors, whispers grew of the council's choice. Varen gathered a group of admirals in secret. His plan was simple. Send a hidden fleet to the Forbidden World, surround the humans, and erase them before the galaxy ever learns the truth. It is mercy, Varen said coldly. We end them now, before they spread, before they remind the galaxy of what they are. The admirals agreed, though unease showed in their eyes. They had heard the same legends, the same warnings. But still, orders were orders, Kalen's suspicion. Kalen returned to his quarters, but he could not rest. He knew the council's fear, and he knew their silence, something twisted inside him, a whisper of dread. They will not wait. They will strike first. He remembered the words of Arik Vale, the human commander. If they come with fire, we will answer with fire, and Kalen understood the danger now. If the Empire sent fleets against the hidden humans, it would not be the end of humanity. It would be the beginning of war, a war that could burn the stars themselves, ending Hook far above, in the void. Imperial warships began to gather in secret, engines glowing, weapons primed, fleets preparing to move without announcement, and deep underground, on the Forbidden World, the humans worked tirelessly. Their shipyards glowed with fire, their soldiers, trained with silence and steel. They already knew the Empire would come, they were waiting. Two civilizations, one of fear, one of endurance, stood on the edge of collision, and in the shadows of both, Kalen whispered the truth to himself. History is about to repeat, but this time, humanity will not be the victims. The first clash, the void of space around the Forbidden World was silent, but in the silence, death was coming. From the far side of the stars, an Imperial fleet emerged, dozens of warships, their silver hulls glinting against the darkness. Engines roared, weapons armed, banners of the Empire burning bright. Admiral Varen stood at the bridge of the flagship, his voice cold. Erase them. The galaxy must never know humans survived. The order spread like fire. Cannons primed, fighters launched, and the fleet began to descend. The warning. Deep underground, alarms screamed through the human city. Sirens echoed in every tunnel. Red, lights flashing. Men and women dropped tools. Children rushed to shelters. Soldiers sprinted to their stations. Commander Arik Vale stood on the command deck of the underground fortress. His face was calm, but his eyes burned. They came faster than I expected, he muttered. He turned to his officers. Activate the surface defenses. Show them who we are. The ground shook as massive cannons rose from hidden shafts. Rust peeled away to reveal shining barrels long prepared for this moment. Missile silos opened, targeting systems locked. Humanity had been waiting centuries for this day. Now the time had come. The Empire strikes. The first blast came from orbit. A beam of pure fire tore into the ruined surface. Ash and stone exploded upward, raining across the wastelands. Admiral Varen sneered. Let's see how long. Their ghosts last. But then the ground itself answered. From beneath the ash, cannons roared, bolts of burning plasma shot skyward, striking the Imperial fleet. One warship erupted in flame, torn apart before its captain even screamed. Another spun out of formation. Engines crippled. The fleet staggered. Varen's smug face twisted into fury. Return fire. Destroy them all. Human firepower on the surface. Hidden bunkers split open. Dozens of missile batteries launched in unison. Streaks of light chasing the sky. Above, explosions tore across the void, scattering fighters and shaking cruisers. And then, from the cavern, the great human warship rose, engines glowing, its hull carved with symbols of fire and endurance. It pushed through the clouds like a beast unchained. The first human dreadnought in centuries had awakened. Kalen, watching from his own small scout vessel, felt his chest tighten. They're not survivors, he whispered. They're warriors. Saris beside him grinned, though his eyes were wide. Looks like the Empire just picked the wrong fight. The clash. The dreadnought fired its first shot. A beam of white-hot energy lanced through the void. An Imperial destroyer was split clean in two, both halves burning as they drifted apart. Panic spread through the Imperial fleet. Officers shouted. Alarms blared. They had expected a weak enemy. But what they faced was power. Raw, focused, ancient. Admiral Varen screamed at his crew. Form ranks! Crush them! They cannot win! But humans fought differently. Their ships moved with speed and precision. Their tactics were unpredictable, turning weakness into traps. Every blast from the humans struck true. Every maneuver felt like a blade aimed at the Empire's pride. Kalen's choice inside his small vessel, Kalen's crew begged for orders. Commander, should we assist the fleet? Kalen's fists clenched, torn between duty and truth. He thought of the Council's arrogance, their lies. He thought of the children he saw running through the underground city, and then he thought of the words that haunted him. We endure. His decision burned inside him. He would not fire on the humans. Instead, he would watch and remember the turning point. The battle raged for hours. Imperial ships fell one after another, but still the fleet pressed forward, desperate to overwhelm. Then, the humans revealed their final weapon. From beneath the surface, a hidden satellite array powered on. Beams of focused energy erupted from orbiting stations long cloaked in silence. The sky turned white as Imperial ships were cut down like grass. Before a blade, Varen's face went pale. This is impossible. Auric Vale's voice echoed across human channels, calm and certain. Empire of fear, you thought us dead. But humanity remembers. Humanity endures. The retreat. With half their fleet destroyed, the Empire's line broke. Ships scattered, engines burning, retreat signals flashing. Varen cursed and slammed his fists on the console. But even he knew the Empire could not win this day. Human cheers echoed through the underground cities. Children lifted their voices. Soldiers raised their fists. For the first time in centuries, they had faced the Empire, and they had won. Kalen sat in silence, his heart pounding. He had witnessed history, the first clash between humanity and the Empire, and it was only the beginning, ending hook as the last Imperial ships fled. Auric Vale stood on the bridge of the human dreadnought. His eyes burned with fire as he spoke to his people. They came to erase us. Instead, they awakened us. This is not the end of our story. This is our return. And far away, in the halls of the Empire, fear began to spread like poison because everyone knew the truth now. Humanity was no longer forgotten. Humanity had risen. Humanity's truth. The smoke of battle had barely cleared when silence returned to the ruined skies. The Imperial fleet was gone, retreating with heavy losses. But deep underground, the human city celebrated. Children cheered in the tunnels. Families sang old songs. Soldiers embraced, their faces smeared with ash and pride. For the first time in centuries, they had fought the Empire, and they had won. But Commander Auric Vale did not smile. He stood on the bridge of the dreadnought, staring into the void where the Empire's fleet had vanished. His voice was low and steady. This is only the beginning. Kalen seeks answers. In a quiet chamber lit by blue crystal lamps, Kalen sat across from Arik. Saris leaned against the wall, his arms crossed, silent but watchful. Kalen's voice was careful, almost pleading. Why did you hide? Why bury yourselves? For centuries while the galaxy thought you gone? Arik's eyes were sharp, but beneath them burned old pain. You want the truth, Commander? Then listen. The betrayal. Arik began to speak, his words heavy like stones. Long ago, humanity was strong. We built cities across the stars. We fought wars, yes, but we also created wonders. And then, when darkness came, when alien fleets burned our homeworld, the galaxy promised help. His hand clenched into a fist. But the Council turned their backs. They left Earth to burn. They left our colonies to fall. Humanity cried out for aid, and the galaxy answered with silence. Kalen's chest tightened. He had read whispers of this in the old archives, but hearing it spoken by a survivor cut deeper. Arik's voice grew darker. So we swore never to trust them again. We vanished from their sight, not because we were weak, but because we were done begging. The hidden years. The room grew still as Arik spoke of the long years underground. How engineers turned ruins into fortresses, how farmers built gardens in stone, how teachers whispered history to children, so they would never forget. Every day was survival, Arik said, his voice low. But survival was not enough. We remembered who we were, and so in the dark, we built ships, weapons, knowledge. We carried the fire of humanity forward. Kalen leaned forward, his heart pounding. You endured, waiting for the day the galaxy would find you again. Arik met his eyes. No, we endured waiting for the day we would return. The lesson Kalen thought of the Council, of their fear and arrogance. He realized the danger was not just the human strength. It was the truth they carried. If the galaxy learned how humanity had been abandoned, betrayed, if they learned that the Council had let Earth burn, it could shake the foundations of the Empire itself. Arik's words were sharp as blades. The galaxy thinks itself safe. They think humanity is a story, but we are real and we are stronger than ever. And when they come for us again, we will not hide. Saris finally spoke, his voice rough. You're not just survivors. You're preparing for war. Arik's gaze hardened. Not war, Captain. Justice. The Council's next move far away, in the Imperial capital, the Council sat in grim silence. Admiral Varen, humiliated, reported the fleet's defeat. They are not survivors. They are an army, he spat. And if we do not crush them now, they will rise against us. Councillor Lyra's voice rose in anger. You would risk the Empire in war against a people who already broke your fleet? You don't see it. We created this. We left them to die, and now they rise. But the leader of the Council silenced them all with one command. We will gather the Grand Armada. Humanity will be erased from history once more. This time there will be no survivors. Kalen's dilemma. Back in the human stronghold, Kalen walked alone through the tunnels. Everywhere he looked, he saw life. Children studying, farmers tending, hidden crops, soldiers sharpening blades. These were not monsters. They were people, proud and unbroken. But he also knew the Empire would never see them that way. To the Council, humans were a threat. Nothing more. Saris found him standing at the edge of the cavern, watching the dreadnought glow in the distance. You know what's coming, Saris said quietly. Kalen nodded, his voice heavy. Yes. The Empire will return with everything they have. Saris spat on the ground. And they'll lose everything they have. The rising flame. Arik Vale gathered his commanders in the Great Hall. His voice rang out like thunder carrying through the tunnels. They thought us dead. They thought us weak. Today we proved them wrong. But they will come again, and when they do, we will not cower. We will not run. We will rise. The hall shook with the roar of thousands of voices. We endure. We endure. Kalen stood at the edge of the crowd, his heart torn. He was sworn to the Empire, but every part of him knew the truth. The Empire did not deserve loyalty, not after what he had seen. For the first time, Kalen whispered the words with the humans. We endure. Ending hook high above, the stars trembled with the movement of fleets. The Empire was gathering its greatest armada, and deep below, humanity prepared its return. Two fires now burned across the galaxy, one of fear, one of vengeance, and Kalen knew the clash to come would decide the fate of everything, because humanity's truth was no longer hidden, and the galaxy was about to learn the full meaning of those words. We endure. The return of humanity. The stars above the forbidden world grew restless. One by one, Imperial warships emerged from hyperspace. Dozens became hundreds, a vast armada stretching across the void, the largest fleet the Empire had assembled in centuries. Admiral Farine stood tall on his flagship's bridge, his voice dripping with pride. This time there will be no escape. We will erase humanity from history forever. The Armada's engines roared, their shadows falling across the ruined world. It was no longer a secret war. This was annihilation. The human response deep underground. Sirens blared. But this time, no one ran to hide. Children were moved to shelters. But the rest, soldiers, workers, leaders, all stood ready. Commander Arik Vale stood on the Dreadnought's bridge, his face calm, his voice steady. They bring their armada. Good. We have waited too long for this. All across the hidden civilization, hangars opened, warships rose from the caverns like beasts breaking chains. Fighters swarmed into the skies, engines burning bright. The humans were not defending anymore. They were rising. Kalen watched in silence, his heart pounding. He whispered, "The Council has no idea what they've unleashed." Beside him, Saris grinned. "Then let's watch the galaxy learn." The first blows, the Empire struck first. A rain of fire poured from orbit, turning the surface into oceans of flame. But from beneath the burning earth, human cannons rose again. Beams of searing energy ripped through the fleet. Destroyers exploded. Cruisers spun into wreckage, then the Dreadnought rose, its hull glowing like molten steel, its engines a roar of vengeance. It cut through the storm and fired. An Imperial battleship was torn apart in one strike. The galaxy had not seen such power in centuries. Now it belonged to humanity. The Armada falters at first. The Empire pressed forward, confident in numbers, but humans fought with a fury unmatched. Every maneuver was sharp, every strike precise. They turned wreckage into cover, traps into victory. Varen's voice cracked with rage. They're just one world, one lost species. How can they? Before he could finish, his flagship shook violently. A swarm of human fighters had pierced the fleet, weaving through defenses. Explosions tore across the ship's hull, alarms screaming. For the first time in his life, Varen felt fear. Kalen's choice on his scout vessel. Kalen's crew waited for orders. "Commander, the fleet wants us in formation. Do we join them?" Kalen looked out at the chaos. Imperial ships falling, human dreadnoughts rising. He thought of the children underground, of the Council's lies, of the truth humanity carried. Finally, his voice was steady. "No, we do not fire on them. Not today. Mark it in the records. We were witnesses. History will know the truth." Saris clapped him on the shoulder, a rare smile breaking through his scars. "Welcome to the right side, Commander." The turning tide. The battle raged for hours. The Empire lost ship after ship, their formations shattered by relentless human tactics. Every time they pushed forward, humanity struck harder. Arik's voice echoed across the fleet. "They thought us dead. They thought us weak. But we are not forgotten. We are not broken. We endure." The humans roared in unison. Their ship surged forward, breaking the Imperial lines. And then, the unthinkable happened. The Imperial flagship exploded in fire. Varen's last scream lost in static. The Armada broke. The survivors fled, their engines burning bright as they scattered into the stars. The greatest fleet of the Empire had been shattered. The Galaxy Awakens word spread like wildfire. Whispers became shouts, shouts became truths. Humanity had returned, not as beggars, not as survivors, but as conquerors of fear. On distant worlds, alien leaders trembled. On mining colonies, workers cheered everywhere. The same words echoed. The humans are alive. Kalen watched the humans celebrate, tears burning in his eyes. He realized the galaxy would never be the same again. The new Don Eric stood before his people. His voice carried. On every channel, for centuries we were shadows. For centuries we endured. But today we rise. Let the galaxy know. Humanity has returned. The crowd thundered, voices shaking the very walls. We endure. We endure. Ending hook far across the stars. In the halls of the Empire, the Council sat in silence. For the first time in living memory, their power trembled. They had tried to erase humanity. Instead, they had given birth to its return. And across the galaxy, every species understood the truth. Humanity had been lost to history, but now history belonged to them.